Yeah, 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 yeah. This the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. In the field with my dogs, like the Sixers, we gon' ball. Wake up early in the morning, tune in anytime at all. Hard time, all season, don't believe in off seasons. Watch the Phillies, watch the Flyers, and the Eagles on the weekends, yeah. This is not your ordinary radio show. Ain't just talking sports, we be talking about the culture. All across the globe, anything you wanna cover. This is for the fans, no room for our front runners. This the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know the vibes.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Brad Memory Show. Marques Bradham, Justin Emery.
Yo, Marcus, I'm flying blind today. I forgot my glasses in the car.
Oh, man.
I know.
Tough break.
I know.
Well,
before the commercial break, I would make the move, but
yeah.
Like Drake, it's just one take.
That's right. That's right. So week one down officially after last night.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with your Birds.
Okay.
Victory. There was a victory, 38-35. The Eagles win the game. Always good to start 1-0. That's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And, week one has really become, in all essence, an extension of the preseason.
Yeah.
You watch around the league, you saw a lot of weird stuff. Tough day for bettors if you're a bettor out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of crazy things happen. You had the Titans go down, the Texans win, the Pittsburgh surprises a lot of people and beats Cincinnati.
Now let me jump in real quick. Are you familiar with the Circa Survivor?
The what?
So Circa is a casino. It's in Vegas, and they do a big Survivor pool every year. It's $1,000 to get in.
Okay.
$7 million pot.
Yeah.
48% of the people remain after week one. Yeah,
it was a bloodbath. The Bears win. If you listen to the show, I had the Bears covering, but I'm not going to sit there and say I had them winning.
No, I have our record from the picks last week, and well, let's just say if you want to compare our two records and you decide that you might want to skip that segment for today, I would understand.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to take too much responsibility for what happened on
week one's tough. Week one's crap.
Week one's a tough week to get in after it, but everyone's excited to get their betting in. But let's stay focused on the Eagles. Let's start on the defense side of football because there's a lot to unpack on both sides, but I think mostly comes from offensively. Defensively, disappointed.
Yeah,
another D word, disappointed. I was a guy that really gave Jonathan Gannon a lot of passes last year. I gave him those passes based on his personnel. Those excuses are no longer valid now with the personnel that this team has on all three levels of the defense. I really think I looked at Terry Glenn and what he was doing with against the Eagles offense, and that's what you'd like to see Jonathan Gannon do more on for the Eagles. Is that it's just such a passive way to play football. And listen, if Jonathan Gannon, if you're listening, you're probably not. Maybe let's get back to you. I gotta tell you, man, if you want to win yourself over in this city, the style you play defense is not going to cut it. It ain't it at all. This is a town built on aggressive defenses. Buddy Ryan, Bud Carson, Jim Johnson. These coordinators who cut their teeth on aggressive play and aggressive Eagles defense.
Well, I think it was really like a game of two halves because you were getting that in the first half. You were getting the zero blitzes. It's just now you weren't getting the results, but you were getting the kind of defense that you wanted in the first half. And then in the second half, fire away. Give it to him, Marcus. Give it to him.
It ain't it. It's just not it. And the pedal to the metal is throughout 4 quarters of the game, if I'm not mistaken. That's usually how you're supposed to attack.
Yep.
The attacking wasn't there, and you kind of let this Lions team kind of hang around. They got off to a, it was typical. You got run away flashbacks last season. How many times do you see a team go down the first drive and score on them, and make it look easy?
Oh, too many to count.
Now you can blame it on the lack of tackling or the non-existent tackling in training camp and preseason from the starters. You saw a lot of missed tackles. But yeah, it's just
That's not a coincidence.
Right. For me, the game plan defensively wasn't there. Nick Sirianni was on. Some guys listen to Angelo Cataldi. He was on there on Monday talking about how the defense needs to improve and that they need to get that taken care of and control. I don't know what he's going to do, being an offensive guy, but now you're a CEO coach, so I guess you go to the coach and say, "Yo, what's going on here?" I guess that's the conversation you have with Jonathan Gannon because there's no excuses this year. There's no excuses. If you were that genius that you came in here as and everyone touted you as, show me. Show me you were that guy. I haven't seen it yet. A lot of people said a lot of things about Jonathan Gannon. Actually, the praise was higher for him than for Nick Sirianni.
How was this man getting coaching, head coaching interviews?
Right. Based off of a reputation right now that he has not earned. Now, it's week 1. Plenty of time to still prove us wrong and earn that reputation. Now, let's go over to the other side of this ball because a lot to unpack there.
Well, can we stay on the defense for a second? I wanted to stay over there for a minute. I just want to stay over there real quick to break down some things from up front on the defensive line.
Okay.
So Derek Barnett's done for the season, torn ACL.
ACL, yep.
None of us were the biggest Derek Barnett fans, but depth is key, and he was depth.
Mm-hmm.
So he's done for the year. I guess, you never want to root for anybody to get injured, even if you don't like the player. However, at least we don't have to worry about any dumb penalties now from him for the rest of the year.
Correct. Yes.
Did you see the Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis splits?
Yes. Not enough Jordan Davis.
Were you going to get into that later, or can we get into that now for a second?
We can do that now.
All right. So Jordan Davis only played 22 snaps.
Yes.
Out of, I want to say, 65 plays, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in that vicinity, mid-60s. He only played 22 snaps.
Yeah.
2.9 yards rushing while on the field, 10-plus yards off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to tell you that it is no coincidence that when you take your 6'6", 360-pound nose tackle off the field, the other team will run more?
Right.
Like that's common knowledge, right?
Right.
Now he's a big man standing there at 360, but I have to assume that he is in better shape than 22 plays in that body.
I would agree. I
know he didn't play every down at Georgia, but you got to have more than 22 plays in you.
I agree. And I would expect that adjustment to be made Monday night against the Vikings, where you'll see a lot more Jordan Davis than you did. Everyone's kind of up in arms about him not getting more plays. I would imagine you're going to get more plays out of him this week upcoming. If
you think DeAndre Swift did it to you, what do you think Dalvin Cook's going to do?
Right. So will that add on defense for you? You got more?
Now the big thing was just the lack of. I think Fletcher Cox is shot. I think it's past. I think he's done.
I think Fletcher Cox as a full-time defensive tackle may be done. I think he can.
He's still can be a rotational player. He's still an average rotational player.
What he's probably going to do better than Jordan Davis now is get to the quarterback.
Yes.
So I think you might want to think about platooning and using him more in those third and longs, those type of downs to get a maximum pass rush. I see him more in that role now.
Yeah. No, my final thing on the defense is just that you were playing Jared Goff, who has got to be one of the worst 5 starting quarterbacks in this league.
Correct.
And he still put up 35 points against you.
Yeah.
And if it's not for a pick 6, mathematically, you could potentially have lost this game. Now, you don't know what would have happened, how they would have called the game plan, all that kind of stuff in the middle of the game. everything would have been changed differently. But offensively, you compare the two teams, the Lions scored more offensive points than the Eagles scored offensive points. And if you're giving up 3+ 70-yard scoring touchdown drives in the second half against this guy, even though you got mediocre quarterbacks on the schedule, you don't have bottom 5 guys. You have Aaron Rodgers on your schedule. You have, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but you have Kyler Murray on the schedule. You have Kirk Cousins on the schedule. Neither one of us are big fans of him, but he's better than Jared Goff.
Yeah, I was gonna say we come at Kirk Cousins a lot on the show. His Walmart wardrobe, being a multimillionaire but dressed like.
No, did you see his post-game fit?
Yes, it was terrible.
Did you see what somebody? I think it was.
Yeah, that wasn't drip; it was dry.
Yeah. Did you? I think it was Nina Kimes that said. Did you see what she said about it?
No.
She's like, this man has like $600 in Kohl's cash.
Yeah, but it's a bad fit.
And I say that as I'm sitting here in a shirt from Kohl's.
All being said is that Kirk Cousins is not Jared Goff. If that's what your approach is going to be, he's going to carve them apart on Monday night. So let's hope the adjustments are made and they can figure it out.
11 looked real good in Washington.
He did.
And if this is the defense that you're going to throw at him,
he did some 11 things. Also, like the screen pass interception, that was a very 11 thing. But
I think that maybe the screen pass just isn't meant for him.
No, it goes constantly.
I think that we just need. I think
push the ball on the field.
It just doesn't work. It didn't work there. It's not working here. It didn't work here. It didn't work there. It didn't work in Indy. I think 11 should just stop throwing the screen pass.
Yeah, it's not happening. But so going to the offensive side of the ball, it is a lot of conflicting opinions out here about this. If you're scrolling through the timeline, reading articles, wherever you're getting information from, it is a lot of conflicting opinions out there about the performance of number one and the performance of the offense. Now, I will say this, the first couple series, you saw the offensive line struggling. You saw that happening. The offensive line struggling. Detroit was blitzing a lot. And the offensive line looks like an offensive line that hadn't played together in like a year. Because that's basically what it's been. Because we haven't really seen them in real action except for, one series. Jason Kelce played the entire preseason.
6 plays.
So, you really haven't had them together, working together. You saw the miscommunication and all of that stuff. So Jalen Hurts, I will say to his credit, I agree in this part. The first couple series, he did bail the Eagles out of some situations with his legs. And that's good. That's good to have a quarterback that can do that. That's a very, very good thing. However, I use however in all caps. We at some point will have Michael Lombardi on the show. And he knows way more than me about football. And this is literally the first question I'm going to ask. According to what I've seen so far, I expect to see this again this week. Because for me, in my eyes, I don't see anything that's really changed from last year. I don't see not one thing that's changed from last year. Yes, those first couple series, offensive line, bail them out, blah, blah, blah. But you go through the rest of that game, and Jalen Hurts in drop-back situations, it was one read. It was one read, I'm out. You watch his eyes. Just watch him drop back. He's dropping back. This target's not open, I'm out. Target open, I throw it to him. That's pretty much was the entire offense with him dropping back. I do not, under any circumstances, want my quarterback running the ball 17 times. I think that is an absurd number. Nick Sirianni, if we have to run it 20 times to do that, to be successful, we will. I aggressively disagree with that premise. I don't see how you saw the late hit. We get hit in the head. These things will happen.
Very surprised he didn't get put in the blue tent.
Right. I thought it was blue tent time also. But the more you do that to your quarterback, the more chance you have of something really bad happening. And Jalen Hurts is not a big dude.
No.
He's not Josh Allen.
No.
He's a small dude. I don't want him taking unnecessary hits. And the kid, at the end of the day, and it drives me crazy of things I see on the timeline. I'm not going to name the name of the person. You might know who I'm talking about. But this person put out a tweet saying, this is for those who question Jalen Hurts' leadership. And it shows him breaking down in the post-game breakdown his speech, which was a very good speech. No one's ever questioned the fact.
I was about to say, hold on, time out. I was about to say, time out.
Yeah, no one's ever.
At no point have we ever said.
No one has. What do we always say about him? He has the intangibles. The tangibles is the struggle. No one's ever questioned that Jalen Hurts could be a leader of men. We like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts seems like a really good dude who wants to be a really good quarterback. I can want $5 million to drop from the ceiling right now and hit me in my big head. But guess what? It's not
happen. If it does, I'm shutting my camera off. I'm on my way.
It's not. Yeah, it's not happening. I could want a Brinks truck to drive through my front door and leave me $10 million. These things are not going to happen. And listen, no matter what you think and want Jalen Hurts to be, you got to look at what actually is happening on the field. And in some of these blitz situations where the blitz was picked up, he still took off. He took off because he is a panicker. He's a panicking. Eminem, panicking. That's what he's doing. He's panicking. He drops back. He's gone. He's out. It's first sign of any kind of pod collapse. He's out. What I want to see with him, I wanted to see with him one time in that game. Can you please show me one instance where Jalen Hurts dropped back, feels the pressure, slides in the pocket, steps up in the pocket, and makes a throw? It didn't happen at any point in time. Does that mean that he can't throw the football? No. You saw him deliver a beautiful ball to A.J. Brown on the sideline. You saw him hit A.J. Brown on a nice slant route in between two defenders. That's not what we're talking about. Mostly for most people, the problem with Jalen Hurts is his ability to process information and his ability to go through his progressions. That is the big problem with Jalen Hurts. That's the issue right there. And for my eyes, I saw the exact same things I saw last year. So what does that tell me? They have a very easy schedule. They'll be successful in the regular season, I'm sure. They'll accumulate a lot of wins. But what happens after that? What happens when we get in the playoffs? What happens in those big games against better teams? Because listen, one more point, I'll let you jump in. Defensive coordinators around the league, I'm sure, watching this game.
They all have cable.
Seeing okay, do we have to adjust the way we played him last year? Do we have to make adjustments of what we did last year? The answer to that question is a resounding no. You don't have to, because he's doing the exact same things. Now there's better personnel. A.J. Brown, obviously a significant upgrade over what they had. 10 receptions, was 165, 155.
I think 155, I believe.
155, a monster. I don't know for the life of me why Detroit did not double team him. That was weird. But regardless of the fact, A.J. Brown was eating. And A.J. Brown will continue to eat all season. However, it's going to be times where he's double teamed. And that's going to be your first read. A.J. Brown's on a lot of routes going to be your first read. What do you do after that? What happens after that? Are you just going to tuck it and run because A.J.'s not open?
So let's start with the good, because there's more bad than good. So let's start with the good, because it wasn't like there wasn't good things to take away from this game. There were some good things. So I'll start with the praise for number one. This is the first game I feel like they won because of him, not in spite of him. If you don't if Gardner Minshew is back there, you don't win that game. Not with Hurts's legs won this game. Now, you may argue Hurts's legs got them into this problem, but when you have a 31-14 lead in the second half, you should be fine. And that's what they had. The defense almost blew this game, not the offense. So I'm going to start with that. This is the first game where I'm like, okay, if you had the backup quarterback in, do they win? And I can safely say if Gardner Minshew plays against the Lions, they lose that game. So that's the good for that. Okay. Another good. Miles Sanders looks nice right now.
Yeah.
96 and a touchdown. More touchdowns he had last year already.
No turnovers.
No turnovers, but don't jinx him. So we're not going to say that again. Okay. It looks like that hamstring injury in training camp was more like a contract issue. So, but he looks good right now. Offensive line, mauling as we thought they would maul. A little rusty from Kelsey, but what do you expect? At 34, 35 years old.
Still had a great second level block.
Yeah. Oh, as they say, he threw him out of the club.
Ran through a man.
But even at 35 years old, you've been in the league, 12, 13, 14 years. He needs still some reps in training camp just to knock the rust off when you didn't play the sport for 8-9 months.
Agreed.
Not worried about him, though, at all whatsoever. Not worried about the offensive line. Goddard, solid game. Not an amazing game, but he had a solid game. A.J. Brown, this is a number one receiver, Marcus.
Yes.
That is what a number one looks like. When you have a true number one, that is what they look like.
That catch down the sideline, I mean, first, it was a great ball by Jalen Hurts, but it was also an amazing catch because you saw the fight, the hand fighting down that sideline. They were going at it, and he's just a man. He's a man.
Like that is an elite number one wide receiver. That's what they look like.
Yes.
Devontae Smith. I'm worried that your prediction is starting to be, and it's only one game, it's going to start coming to fruition throughout the course of this season if things don't change. Now, the first one was on him.
Mm-hmm.
First one's your fault. You got to be paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of it, I mean, him and I had the same amount of stats in that game.
Yeah, what do I always say? Like, wide receiver is an incentive-based position. Mm-hmm. It's about production. And if you don't produce, you're not going to get paid.
Yep.
And this is going to start affecting. He's a number one pick. This is going to start affecting his money. Mm-hmm. And when you start playing with someone's money, you're playing with their emotions. And it's gonna be and then also you bring in the aspect of A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts being like best friends, talking on the phone every day. Like you're creating a dynamic where it's like, they're in the club.
Going on here.
You're not in the club.
Yeah. And you can't have that.
No.
You can't have that. And in every group of friends, there's always people that are closer than you're always closer with one or two people than you are with some of the other people in your group. Doesn't mean you're all not friends, but you're always a little bit closer to some people. That very well could be the case here. Whatever. That's fine. But you can't let that be known. A la Tony Romo, Jason Witten.
Right.
A la Carson Wentz, Zach Ertz. Can't let that happen.
Right.
You need more of Matt Ryan when he had Julio and Roddy White and Tony Gonzalez.
Right.
Spread it around. Roddy White was his guy.
Right.
Now Julio was, because Julio turned out to be that guy. But there was no secret. Matt Ryan and Roddy White were basically attached at the hip. You would not be able to tell.
Right.
And Devontae, if he's what would you think that he would do if he was on the Chargers?
Eat.
The Bengals opposite Jamar Chase.
Eat.
The Chiefs. The
barbecue chicken.
Even if you had him on the Jets with somebody like Zach Wilson throwing him the ball.
Right.
I mean, the Jets are awful, but
and it's no excuse because Devontae Smith, one of his strengths is he is a pristine route runner.
Already top 10.
So this is not a situation where he doesn't know how to run NFL routes.
Already a top 10.
He has trouble getting open. He has trouble getting separation. No, none of these things are true. It's where it's like Jalen Hurts. It's like you play with a guy. This isn't happening in playing league basketball, but like you play with a guy in pickup where he wants to be the point guard and he wants to be the guy to bring the ball to the floor, but he never has his eyes up. He always looking down. He's pushing the ball. His eyes are down. You look up. You can't do that. It's a no-no. And that's how he plays quarterback position. It's like he has the one target. If it's not there, I gotta go. It's not gonna work.
No, it's not going to work. Like you said, they have a weak schedule. No Dak for a while, though. I don't know what Jerry Jones is. He's talking out all 7 of his faces.
Yeah, he's now the news report. He'll be back in 4 games.
Yeah, I don't know what.
How do you come back from a broken thumb in a month?
No. He basically had the Bryce Harper surgery.
Right.
So how long did it take Harper to come back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's throwing the football.
I mean, like he has I remember. I think it was Kurt Warner the one time was talking about a thumb injury, and he's like, "It's not the pain tolerance. It's not, oh, can it get hurt? He's like, you have to wait for the sensation to come back to be able to feel the football. He's like, if you can't feel it, you can't throw it. He's like, it has nothing to do with pain, man. It's all about the sensation coming back into your fingertips to being able to grip the ball.
Right.
And that is what is going to be an issue for Dak. This isn't his first thumb injury, is it?
I thought it was a hand.
Either way,
thumb,
thumb. It's not good to happen.
No.
So, but I will have to say I am softened a little bit from my previous stance. When you and I were talking, I think third quarter, fourth quarter of the game, I was ready to ship him out of town. 48 hours removed. We need improvement.
Yes.
We just need the point is we need improvement. I'm not banishing him to the Howie Roseman broom closet, but we need improvement. What we saw wasn't good enough.
No.
And I don't think that it's on the coaches, that one. That was on the player.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, this is not something right now that we couldn't see improve during the year. I'm willing to give it time. It's week 1, but I also have to be honest.
However,
my eyes are telling me.
I'm not. I am now officially out on these candy ass training camps.
I just don't like the whole what's training camp preseason has turned into. Because again, like I said, it's week 1 has turned into an extension of the preseason because so many guys have not gotten their proper reps.
Like Lions were ready for that game. They just are a bad team.
Right. Yeah. They came out with their hair on fire. I mean, it was a nice atmosphere.
Like if the Eagles had the Lions training camp with their talent and the lack of talent for the Lions, that may have been a 38-5 or 35-7, whatever, then a 38-35 game. They would have blown the doors off of the Lions if they didn't have cupcake training camp.
Yeah, and like they woke up a little bit obviously as the game went along, but you have, and we'll look at it on Friday a lot more, but you got the Vikings coming into town that looked pretty good against the Packers. And a quarterback who can throw the ball a little bit, and another number one wide receiver coming in here.
Yeah, another number one of number ones.
Yes. So, it'll be interesting to see that. But I'm more. It's all. Listen, at the end of the day, this year is all about Jalen Hurts. It's all about us finding out who and what he is. And the week 1, I would say it was a C+ to B-. He was in the 78 to 82 range. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. I need the B+ to A range right now to you. And then, eventually I'm going to ask you for A+. But a C+ to B-, that's where you were last year. That's kind of where like all throughout that second half of the year when the Eagles caught fire and got in the playoffs, that's where you were. That was the grading curve where you were in that range. And in the areas that you really need to improve and we really needed you to step up, week 1, it didn't look like you did. Now, obviously, he's been working on this stuff in the offseason. There's no way in the world he hasn't been. his work ethic. He worked on his stuff. But what happens is, just sometimes when you get
there,
speed, you go back to bad habits. And
when you're out there and the bodies are flying around you for real,
right?
You don't have the red jersey on,
right?
What do? You go back to what makes you comfortable.
But this is where coaching is so important, because this is where you're sitting him down and you're going through all the. You're going, hey, Jalen, you had time here. Yeah. Look, Quez is open here. Look, Devontae's open here. Look, Dallas is open here. Hey, on this one, you had time. You had time on this one too.
This is a film game. You can learn a lot from the film on this game,
right?
Because not only they scored 31 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of offensive points. You score 31 offensive points, most weeks you will win.
Yeah.
Yep. And I still feel like they left points on the field.
Yeah. I mean, the offense, listen, you can't, if they had 4 rushing touchdowns on Sunday, that's a big deal. Miles gets in, Jalen gets in, Boston Scott gets in, Gainwell gets in, everyone gets in. That's awesome. That's
Devontae Smith.
So you just need those progressions to start to be able to be worked through. That's where I'm coming from. I don't want to kill this team or kill Jalen Hurts. I'm just trying to be honest.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of people that are rooting for Jalen Hurts, like we are too, we're rooting for him also. They're rooting for him, so they're wishing things into existence, and their eyes are starting to lie to him a little bit. Ron Jaworski, I mean, I love Jaws on the post game. He said it right. He said, "Listen, there were times, there were blitzes, there were throws to be made. He didn't hang in there. He got out."
The thing is, I'm a big Jaws fan, but I have to shine the light on him and get your take on it a little bit.
Okay.
Because I don't want to say he's talking out of both sides of his mouth, because Jaws is not that kind of person. He will tell you what he believes, but I don't think he's being fair.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is I think he's being appropriately critical to the quarterback, but I don't think he's carrying that same energy to the rest of the team, and I will tell you why.
Okay.
Obviously, he played quarterback, so he knows the deep intricacies of the position.
Yes.
Of course, he's going to pick and nitpick and tear down each little thing wrong with every quarterback he sees.
Yeah.
Just in his nature to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same breath, he came out and said that the defense had a great game plan and that the defense played great against the Lions. And that is just factually incorrect.
Wild take.
If you're going to come out here and tell everybody the negatives, and I want him to be honest. And the problem is that if that is honestly how he feels, I'm very scared, because I don't want to sit here. It's very disrespectful for me to say, hey, Ron, go back and watch the tape. I have no business saying that to Ron Jaworski. Right. But if that is his honest take of how that game went, my first reaction is Ron, you got to go back and watch the tape.
So when I think of a great defensive game plan, the first thing that comes to my mind is you taking away what the other team does best. What do the Detroit Lions do best?
Run the ball.
Did they take that away?
No, he had a 47-yard run on the third.
The end. That's why I looked at Ron Jaworski and said, sorry, Ron. It's a wild take. It's a wild take, bro. Like, no, that was not. No.
Like a pick six doesn't change everything.
No,
it helps. It helps a lot.
It helps,
but
actually, it helped them big time, because, like you said, they don't win that game if they don't have that play.
No. Now, how many sacks did they have in that game? Do you know?
3, 2,
no.
3.
No, less.
1.
Do you know where the sack came at?
It was Fletcher Cox, right?
Yep, but do you know how he got there?
Refresh my memory.
Jared Goff dropped the snap.
Oh, right.
So you can't even really say you got that many sacks.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a sack because, okay, yeah, on the stat sheet, you got a sack.
Right.
Let's it was one of those drop the ball, dive on it, somebody touches him.
Right.
Real quick. Oh, one thing I just want to go back. Something you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to Hurts running the ball 17 times, 3 of those you got to kind of take off the board for the kneel downs because they all count as accumulated runs.
14 still too much.
Oh, no, I agree. 14 is anything above, honestly, 8 to 10 is too many for me.
Yeah, I'm good with 4.
But it skews everything when you add those 3 in.
Like I said, the first 2 series, those runs, I think he had to get out of there.
I'd say the first quarter.
Like he had to get out of there. That was probably like 4 or 5 runs he had where he had to go.
You were watching the game? I'm gonna say you were watching the game.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I had it. I meant watching versus listening to.
Yeah.
I always do. First half on the way home from Borgata, Mike and Merrill. Halftime, switch over to TV.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Merrill was going to blow a gasket.
Really? By all the runs?
Yeah. I thought he was going to blow a gasket.
What was he saying?
He's like, well, he's like, and something. Oh, and another run from the quarterback position. So far, we have Jalen Hurts run, Jalen Hurts run, Jalen Hurts run, incomplete pass, Jalen Hurts run.
Wow.
And the thing is, he's a huge Hurts fan.
Yeah.
But even he knows.
But you know what though? I hate that. He's a huge. We all are Hurts fans. We all are like. I am a fan of Jalen Hurts, the man. We want him to be successful. We all are. We all want the same thing. We do. We all are in the same camp. This divisiveness of, oh, we want him to be successful. You guys are hating. Why in the world would I not want Jalen Hurts to be successful? As a fan,
I can't sit here and tell you, honestly, though, that I believe he's the guy.
Exactly.
I can't do. I will not come on here and tell you something I don't believe.
Right. I gotta believe. At one point in 2017, I believe Carson Wentz is going to be our quarterback for the next 15 years. I believe that. Watch that season.
Yep.
He got me to a place where I was there. Even when he gets hurt, comes back 2018, I'm still there. 2019, I was still there.
So
2020 was when I was like, oh, okay. How things ended there, how it fell apart, all things you were hearing. All right. I have not one point on the field had that feeling with Jalen Hurts yet. Going back, let's go back. Donovan. I knew when he took over in 2000, that was the right choice. He was the guy. Trust in Donovan. I was that way all the way till 2008. After the ACL is when I started to be like, I don't know. And then, he had the last run in 2008. But 2009, you knew it was time for him to move on. It was time for them to move on from him. Randall Cunningham, before Donovan, we knew. When he was in there, we knew. Then it got to the point where it was like, I don't know if this guy is doing a great job reading defenses. Somebody's getting confused by some zones. We had to move on. All of those guys I named, Randall, Donovan, Carson, I have not at one point had that feeling about Jalen Hurts. And if you're honest with yourself, you know the sport of football and know what a great quarterback looks like and a franchise quarterback looks like, how can you be sure? What are you watching that I'm not watching that says, yep, definitely, this is it. This is the guy. I don't get it. It's okay to like him. Both things can be true. You can like him, you can root for him, but you can still not be sure.
Yeah, like I said, I will not come on here and lie to people and tell them things that I don't believe. Right. Now, obviously, with all things, I reserve the right to change my mind as new information unfolds.
Of course.
But as I sit here at 1:47 p.m. on Tuesday, September 13th, I don't believe he's the guy.
Correct.
Ask me again in October, I might have a different answer. November, I might have a different answer. I may have a different answer from October to November.
Yes.
But right now,
It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
no.
And listen, again, it's week 1. We'll see. We'll see. There's a week-to-week situation. We will see. But getting back to the actual team, there are reasons, as you stated, and I'm glad you were Mr. Positivity today. There are reasons to be excited
It's
about.
definitely good that we did the show 48 hours after and not 24.
Yes.
Gave me some extra time to cool down and put things into perspective.
Yes, this is still the best offensive line in football.
Not even close.
We still have A.J. Brown.
Yes.
Devontae Smith will still be a playmaker. There are great things to take away from this game. The defense on all 3 levels still is a very good defense. The nice thing about this year with this is that this is a scheme issue. And this is Nick Sirianni, and this is your job to fix that scheme. As CEO coach, you need to go in Jonathan Gannon's office and say, we need to change some things. We got the pieces now. We got to change some things. Get some input. I always like it when coaches get input from their players.
Like, there's no way Gannon survives this year if it's not good for him, right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
He can't. Get some input. I always love when coaches get input from the players. Talk to your players. You have guys in Darius Slay, who's been in the league for a while. What do you like? What do you like to do? What do you like to hear, Darius?
I mean, they got some veterans. They got Slay. They got Cox. They got Brandon Graham. They got some guys.
Right. Let's talk to these guys. Let's go through the film together and see what worked, what didn't work. How do we want to exploit some things? What can we do? Because again, this Vikings team coming in, this is a really good offense. Really good offense.
Oh.
Young offensive mind. All of that stuff you hear, and they can carve you up if you're not careful.
I'm going to play a little one word, maybe not one word, couple words. I'm going to give you a name of one of the players. You give me the first couple words come to your mind about how they played on Sunday.
Okay.
Kaiser White.
Love it.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Me.
Landon Dickerson.
That was 2 thumbs up if you're listening, by the way.
I was going to say, I appreciated it, but then I like, if you're watching on YouTube, they all gotcha.
That was 2 thumbs up if you're listening.
Yeah. And then Bradbury.
Oh, play the game.
Did you know that's the first career pick 6 he's ever had at any level?
I love when stuff like that happens. First game with a new team, go out there and make that kind of impact.
Did you hear Merrill?
Have a day.
Did you hear what Merrill called him on the call?
No.
He was so hyped he called him Blackberry. He's hyped. He's like, and Blackberry with the interception. He's running. He's running. Blackberry. Yes, James Blackberry. And you just hear Mike Quick. It's Bradbury. It's Bradbury. He was so hyped. And then he goes, what? Mike, what'd you say? He goes, it's Bradbury. He goes, Blackberry, Bradbury. At least I didn't call him Blueberry.
That's funny.
You can tell he was out. He didn't even know what he was saying.
That's hilarious.
So,
there are things to be excited about. This is not doom and gloom. All this is just pure, unadulterated honesty. Is what you come to expect from the Brad and Memory Show.
Yes,
we're gonna give it to you honest. We're not gonna we're not gonna give you some wild takes that we don't believe in. We're not here to be.
We may give some wild takes, but you best believe we
wild takes we believe in, though.
Yes,
wild takes we believe in. We're not here to be entertaining, saying things.
Marcus, the very first show we did, within the first 10 minutes, I came on this airwaves and said, "Hey, we should trade Carson Wentz."
Yeah, that's true.
So
we're not saying things to be entertaining. We are entertaining by the things we say.
Yes. Yes. Anything else on the Eagles, or you want to bounce around the league?
Let's go around the league because there's a wild week of football around the league.
So let's just toss this out of the way real quick, so we can. Our picks for the week. No, neither one of us, I think, foresaw any kind of tie to go on. So. And especially of all teams, the Colts and the Texans to tie.
Yeah, come on.
Like that's. I thought about taking the bet no ties this year at plus 400. I didn't. Thank God I didn't, because I would be irate that I lost the first week.
First week, yeah.
But I came in finishing the week at 9-6-1 on the picks.
Okay.
You came in at 7-8-1.
Ooh, tough week.
The big deciding ones for you was losing the Dolphins game.
Mm-hmm.
And let me where are the picks at? I had the picks right here. The Dolphins game, that was one, and the Raiders Chargers.
Yeah, Derek Carr killed me.
Yeah, and
Derek Carr threw up on himself.
yes. Well, I actually picked up 3 wins against you. You picked up 1 against me. I also picked the Bucs. You had the Cowboys.
Yeah.
However, you got me on the Packers Vikings. So it wasn't a clean sweep. However, so this season I'm 2 games up, but you know what that means? I tied your lifetime.
Yeah,
I tied your lifetime. So,
all right. I'll try to do better next week.
Yeah. So should we get into the big injury first, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Dak has effectively, or maybe ineffectively, because he definitely wasn't effective in the game before his injury,
No.
tanked the Cowboy season. Now, Jerry Jones says he could potentially be back in 4 games or after 4 games. That's why they didn't put him on IR. But the prognosis is 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
If they go the 8-week route, they'll also get the bye week in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll only be 7 games, 8 weeks. With the return of Dak marking the return of Mike McCarthy to Green Bay. Can we just cash the Eagles division tickets now if we have them?
Yeah, listen, I don't like, there's a lot of people are going to be like, oh, the Dak industry, that's what, no. This was doomed before that even took place. If you listen to the show, I didn't have the Cowboys making the playoffs before Dak got hurt.
No.
So I liked them week 1 just for the fact that I didn't like what was coming out of Tampa Bay, but Dallas was just so bad, it didn't matter. Like Tampa Bay wasn't by any chance a buzzsaw. It's just Dallas was really, really, really bad. So
I mean, the questions around Dallas now are: is CeeDee Lamb truly a number 1 receiver,
right,
or is he just a top shelf number 2?
Listen, man,
I don't know. I'm just throwing that question. I don't know.
Amari Cooper loss is gigantic.
Yes,
what they do.
No.
That's gonna that to me is the biggest thing that happened in the offseason to even step back. Gallup, obviously, his injury. I like Michael Gallup. However, the Amari Cooper situation was huge.
I mean, we talked earlier in the show about number 1s. Amari Cooper is a number 1.
Yes, especially on that squad. And Dak and him had a nice thing there. He really made the offense go.
Like, there's levels to number 1s. Make no mistake. There's levels to, like, is Amari Cooper Stephon Diggs? No. But Amari Cooper, we talked about Devontae Smith route running. Yeah. Amari Cooper is even better. Like, Amari Cooper may be the best route runner in the NFL.
Yeah. Sometimes he gets a little case of the dropsies, but he's so good. It almost
he can force himself open. Him and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Next, they need an offseason to get it together. Next year,
yeah,
Deshaun and Amari Cooper could be a big problem in Cleveland. Now, don't get me wrong, I love me some Micah Parsons. I understand he plays for the Cowboys, but he had 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Against Brady. They're going to now have to rely on Zeke and Pollard to carry this team against an offensive line that is decimated. Like, Jason Peters is going to start for this team in a couple weeks, Marcus.
Zeke is shot. He's done.
Yeah.
Pollard should be and is the number 1 back on that squad now.
Yeah.
But Pollard, I don't know. Like they're a mess over there. It's just an absolute.
It's not my problem.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. They can never figure it out. It's just an absolute atrocity. Dak Prescott's career, honestly, it's funny. I see a lot of parallels to his career and Tony Romo's career, where both of those guys gave you glimmers of being like a top tier quarterback, but at the end of the day, it was always something with them. It's the same guy.
There's so many people making excuses for Dak and this and that. what is different from this season for Dak than it was for Carson after he broke his back?
Right.
There is none. That's why Marcus didn't have anything to say, because there is none. But we had all the excuses in the world for Dak, none for Wentz. When are we going to stop having excuses for Dak and realize that he's a good player? He's not a great player.
Dak is never going to carry you.
No.
And that's what you look at.
Dak will not necessarily lose it for you, but he definitely won't win it for you.
Right. So yeah, honestly, I don't know what the Cowboys or where they go or how they right the ship and get back, because like it's just, this has been a franchise that just can't figure it out. They can't figure it out. Staying in the NFC East, actually the Cowboys are the only team to lose in the NFC East, and the only team not to score a touchdown in week 1. Even the Seahawks got that done. Commanders.
Yeah, they defense, giving up 20-something points to the Jaguars is not good luck. I don't care that it is Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson. Still not a great look. Carson threw 4 tutties.
Mm-hmm.
2 picks.
Yeah.
Had a very interesting post-game speech, if you didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it.
Man, it's weird hearing Carson drop the F-bomb.
What?
Yep.
Carson dropped an F-bomb?
He did.
No.
He did.
What, fun?
No, he's talking about, he goes, I appreciate you guys, I love that going out. Kind of like what Jalen's doing afterwards, blah, blah, blah. He goes, we look great. I understand. I threw the ball twice to the other team. I upped. I'll fix that. That's on me.
Wow. That's interesting.
So they played it actually yesterday. I heard it yesterday when they replayed it on the WIP afternoon show. And Ike Reese is like, yeah, he's like, if you're down there actually at practices, like the closed practices when Carson was here, he's like, he can use some color for words if practice isn't going the way he wants. Because we talked about it before, he's a noted dominant practice player.
Yeah.
And when the other guys around him aren't up to par for the offense, he's like, I've heard Carson really let it fly to some of these receivers before when they're not up to snuff. So he's like, when you catch him like not with the camera in his face, and it's football, like he can let it fly a little bit.
That's interesting. That's very that's very interesting. I didn't expect that on my Tuesday, but
no.
here we are.
Yeah. Now, if you go to like Redskins, Commanders Twitter, poke around. I'm sure you can find the video.
We've said it before. Like, this is a nice spot for him. He has guys that can stretch the field. Dotson, I think, will by the end of this year be like a bona fide star.
I wish that he was on this team. So
I know. He's awesome. And like, so Carson's arm fits what they want to do perfectly. So that's why I've had Commanders finishing second in division, because I think it's a good fit for him. And they're better than people think they're going to be. But we'll see what happens as we go week to week. The Giants upset the Titans.
So
good for them in a sense, but like
long run doesn't matter. Doesn't matter in the long run.
Daniel Jones a mess.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be able to sustain any sort of consistency the rest of the season. It is nice. I will say on a positive note, it's nice to see Saquon Barkley look like Saquon Barkley again. But that's we've seen in a very long time him look like the guy. Like, what did he do? Rush for 160?
156, I believe.
156. So yeah, he was moving. Speaking of, real quick too, going back to the Bucks, Julio Jones.
Oh, I love me.
I am a believer in TB12. Apparently, that's what he's been doing all off season, is the TB12 method, and he's another guy that looked like Julio Jones.
Should we do the TB12?
What's that?
Should we do the TB12?
I'll give it a shot. I'll give a little TB12 action.
Did you hear what Adam Schefter had to say about it?
I didn't.
So he goes, he's like, I don't really like to endorse like individual players' products. He's like, because anytime a player he's like, they send me stuff. He's like, I don't really like in my position like to be endorsement of individual players unless like I'm paid to do it.
Of course.
But he's like, I got to tell you, he's like, the sleeping pills that are in the TB12, he's like, I've never had better night's rest after them.
Wow.
He's like, I had a friend, this is Adam Schefter, I think he was on Boomer Radio talking about this. And he was like, I had a friend of mine who had like some kind of a cancer where he's like, he basically like couldn't sleep. He's like, he would sleep like 2 hours a night. He goes,
because of pain.
Yeah, he goes, I gave him some of these. He's like, I had a couple bottles of them. He goes, I gave him a bottle. He texted me the next day. He's like, it's the first time in years I slept through the whole night.
Wow.
He's like, now I don't. And this is Adam, like I said, this is Adam Schefter talking. He goes,
yeah.
I'm not. He's like, I'm not eating the avocado ice cream and the smooth. He's like, but he's like,
with the supplements.
Yeah, but he's like, from the little bits of things that I have tried, he's like, I have to admit, they've all worked.
What's the guy's name? He's Alex. Is Alex Gonzalez?
Guerrero.
Alex
Guerrero.
Yeah, that's the man apparently. Well, listen,
isn't it Anthony Guerrero? I think it's Anthony.
You could be right. I knew it was
something like that.
Something in that vicinity, but yeah, well,
right. You're right. It is Alex.
If you look at Julio Jones's play from week 1, like, and that might change my opinion on the Bucks, because like I knew they got Julio Jones, but I didn't know they got 2015 Julio Jones. Like no one said that, like, okay, you're getting Julio Jones, the 2015 version. You're not getting the one we saw with the Titans, the one we saw with the Colts.
Hold up. So I just typed in the TB12 method to see if I could get like a list of some of the stuff in there.
Uh-huh.
And one of the top hits on Google is LSD in the TB12 method. But I can't pronounce any of these damn ingredients, Marcus.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to like the farthest regions of like Bahi. I mean, like they're going like
here's the thing.
They're going to like rainforest.
I just looked up a picture of Alex Guerrero. He's 58 years old, and it looks like we could have went to high school together. So like something's going right for him.
Right. Right.
I don't know what it is, but something's going right for him.
Something's working. Something's working.
Yeah. No, he's 25 years older than me, and we could have went to high school together.
Yeah.
Joey Burrow.
Oh man, was it bad over there? But again,
the thing is, he's not that, like, that game. You just literally got to. That's one of the games where you just throw away the tape.
Right.
He's not that bad. Like,
you're not gonna.
If he plays the next 15 years, that might be the worst game he's ever played.
Right. And listen, you have TJ Watt is TJ Watt. He made a ridiculous play on that interception at midfield. And that's a shame going with him. So
both of the Watt brothers.
Steelers lose. They're such heartbreakers. TJ Watt they're such a heartbreakers. You play like that, and now your pec's torn, and you could be out for the rest of the year. Avoid surgery. You're out 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. Najee Harris was a negative, so he's good to go next week. But yeah, so yeah, that was one of the weird games that happened. I mean, the defense looked great. Minkah Fitzpatrick with a pick 6. The Pittsburgh defense, and I'm going to give you your props. You were right. Trubisky may be an upgrade over Ben just for the fact that he's not going to. Ben
Roethlisberger was just so bad last year.
Yeah,
that anything is pretty much an upgrade for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just that bad.
Yeah. So and now with Watt being out, Watt is just a game changer. It's really going to hurt them big time.
Did he was defensive player of the year, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you can't replace.
By the way,
yes. You can't replace the defensive player of the year in the middle of your lineup.
Right. So yeah. I mean,
like, how do you? I mean, obviously we're comparing sports, but it's like the Phillies. How do you replace losing the MVP in the middle of your lineup? Like,
right. You go back, you see, even Burrow played really poorly. He turned the ball over 5 times
Jamar Chase is a cyborg, though.
It's ridiculous. And they still should have won that game. They had every opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Who's the kicker?
Johnny Mack.
Yeah, that loss is on him.
They lose a long snapper, and the hold wasn't up to snuff, and this is what you get. But so yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, going back to the NFC East, the Eagles are clearly the front runner to win this division.
Oh,
I
let me get a real time odds update.
I think now with the Dak injury, the Cowboys will be in the cellar for sure. I see Eagles,
Giants will be.
Giants still be in the cellar.
Yeah, Giants are. I mean, if they didn't win this week, I thought there could have been a chance that the Giants went 0-17. Like, they suck.
They're not a good football team.
Yep. So you want to take a guess at the NFC East division odds? I have them right in front of me, Marcus.
Eagles are what, plus 200?
None of them are. Eagles are not plus.
They're really minus 150.
There you go, right on spot. Minus 150. Commanders in second. What do you think they are?
Plus 6.
No. Dallas is plus 6, and they're dead last.
Okay, so Commanders plus 3?
460.
Okay.
Giants 5.
I mean, just for ish and giggles, if you're like Commander supporter, I would pound that.
I'm thinking.
You got a shot. At a plus 460. What do you watch the Untold? You probably didn't watch the Untold on Tim Donaghy, the referee that
No, I heard it was very good.
It was phenomenal, and they were talking about
I heard he wasn't very remorseful in it though.
No, not at all. But I mean, at this point, what do
you
I did it.
Whoa! Major updates on the conference odds. Your Philadelphia Eagles are currently second.
Behind the Rams?
Tampa Bay.
What?
Tampa Bay is currently the winner to win the NFC at plus 260, followed by your Eagles at plus 600.
Now, like I said, but Tim Donaghy, they talk about the betting odds and with money. So, 100 was a penny, 500 was a nickel, 1,000 was a dime. If I'm a Commanders guy, I put a nickel on the plus 460. If you're an Eagles guy, you put a nickel on that plus 600. It's pretty good odds.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the Super Bowl odds, and they actually dropped in half for the Eagles.
I tell you what, man, these national people love them some Philadelphia Eagles this year. Do you think it's just because of the schedule? I know they have a good squad, but do you think they're looking at the schedule and saying this team should get the bye? What is it?
I think it's a combination of an elite team roster with a very weak schedule in the depleted conference. If they're in the AFC, we're talking them maybe having the 3rd or 4th seed.
Yeah, I feel like whoever comes out of the NFC is getting waxed by the AFC this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Waxed.
Dude, Justin Herbert is something else.
This is true.
This
is true. They looked really good.
And he didn't even have Keenan Allen.
No, they looked really good Sunday. Yeah, you know what made me actually belly laugh is when Aaron Rodgers went up top on the first play to the Rook, and the Rook dropped it, and Aaron Rodgers' face.
Oh man!
You can tell he's just a douche.
Oh,
like he's just a douche because you're taught when a guy makes a play like that. Listen, it's the first. Okay,
the thing is, you can't. The thing is, you want to rip him apart in the locker room,
right?
Do it. You are Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this kid, at the end of the day, this kid's a rookie.
You can't wear that on the field.
It's his first game. it could not have gone worse for him.
No.
Rodgers literally, as Shannon Sharp said about Carson Wentz, walks it to him, just posts it right in his hand, in stride. That's an easy 6, and the kid drops it. That's the time you put your arm around the kid and say,
Okay,
"Hey,
listen."
And you go to the coaches right there. Let's get right back to him.
Yeah, we're going right back to him. We're not.
He gets the ball for like 2 more series after that. I think he got it on like an end around or something.
Remember James Jones, wide receiver for the Packers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think he's with FS1 now, maybe ESPN. He's with one of those networks.
Okay.
I'm watching him do an interview though, and they asked him this specifically because this was during training camp. They asked him, you were one of the guys that you had a great relationship with Rodgers. Rodgers really liked you.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, that's because you have 2 types of offense in Green Bay. You have the offense that the coaches want to run, and you have the Aaron Rodgers offense. And he goes, quite frankly, the Aaron Rodgers offense is better. That's what they should be running. But they don't. He goes, I was a very good receiver for the Aaron Rodgers offense. That's why he threw me the ball. That's why I got a lot of touchdowns. That's why I got a lot of yards. That's why I made a lot of plays. He goes, Rodgers is one of the few quarterbacks that it doesn't matter if you're the better player. If he doesn't like you, he won't throw you the ball.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's important that they get receivers that he likes. Doesn't necessarily have to be the best because Aaron will make them better, but he has to like them.
I forget who said this, but someone was talking about him and what he requires is receivers. And one of the biggest things he requires them is to be able to run those secondary routes.
Yes.
What I mean by that is the ability when a play breaks down to run a second route.
Yes.
And
I
think it was Greg Olson on the telecast said it. I'm gonna give him credit for it. I might be wrong, but I think it was him. But basically talked about the idea of these guys don't know how to do that yet. They're running that one route, and when it's not there, they don't know what else to do. Where the Devontae Adams, the Lazards, they know to run those secondary routes because Rodgers is going to make something happen. But like back to my original point, you can't do that, bro. You can't.
No, you know who they would be smart to sign? Odell.
That would be a nice signing for them.
They'd be smart because he's the type of receiver who can run those secondary routes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't know where he's at in his recovery.
So it was February he tears the ACL. So we're where September. So he probably at earliest November he'll probably be ready.
I think that he would be a really good pickup for them.
Yeah, like if I'm like I obviously a rookie, you can't say much, but like man, I want to punch him in the face for that.
Oh yeah.
That's an easy. I want to punch you in the face. So yeah, but so the South, the Vikings obviously look the best in week 1, but it's always something with them too.
North, you mean?
I'm sorry, the North. You don't know what they're going to eventually end up being. But listen. The Vikings have all the ingredients to be a football team.
Can we kick it out to the West?
Yes.
Niners.
What did I tell you, people out there? I hope you took the cover on that. I had a bad week, but that was.
Is there a single person who had a better weekend than Jimmy Garoppolo?
I mean, listen. This is why we were saying. This is why you hold on to him because we don't like. And I thought like giving Trey Lance in game 1 as a -7, huh? I didn't see that at all.
On the road. On
the road. I mean, it. It also ended up being really bad conditions out there too.
The thing is, when you have, those were amongst some of the worst conditions you'll see in a football game.
Did you see the clip of the water main that busted? And water, it looked like something out of a Twister. Water was just shooting like waves of water shooting up in the air and like raining over top of cars. It was insane.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you see the clip of the person who left their grill on?
I was just going to get to that.
And blew up like 3 cars?
No. There was like 24 cars.
Could you imagine coming back?
No,
coming back to the parking lot after that?
No, someone's dying.
Could you imagine?
No.
Coming back to the parking lot after that.
No, whoever, we do not advocate for violence on this show. I hope that whoever left the grill there got punched in the face.
Yeah. I mean, more than that. I mean, that's
I'm not willing to publicly advocate for that, though. I do hope more than that, but I'm not going to publicly.
So what happens there? Because that's not like does your insurance cover? Does your insurance cover that?
Their insurance covers that.
What? But their car insurance? Because it's a grill. It's not a car. I don't know how you handle that. Like you better hope you have farmers because farmers covers everything.
But what about the stadium parking lot? Like the insurance for the stadiums?
Maybe you get that stadium park. Maybe that. But I know, like personally, like
that's it. I'm throwing up the bat sign where I'm sending the message to Dan Lust.
Yeah, I want to know who takes care of that.
Somebody. I mean, I'm not. I can tell you that.
Right.
And if everybody's like, "Oh, you're beat," I'm robbing the person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's terrible. I can't imagine coming back to the park lot and see
what game was that?
My car truckle. I'm not sure what game it was.
Oh, okay. I did see that though. I was good. Yeah, that sucked.
So yeah, you want so in the West, yeah. So you have the Niners go down.
Dolphins Patriots game.
You were right. I was wrong.
Yeah,
I was very wrong. Very, very, very wrong.
What about what?
About the Dolphins Patriots game.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. That's where the car blew up. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No. I'm talking. And it was 13 cars that it got.
It's insane.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't foresee.
I mean, it's actually a wonder.
Do Dolphins fans tailgate like that?
And that weather, you better. It's a wonder though that this doesn't happen more often. Because you're drinking, you're hammered. Oh, it's time to go. It's a wonder this stuff doesn't happen more. That we don't hear about this stuff more often.
Yeah. I hope I don't hear about this more though.
No, absolutely not.
Well, let me rephrase that. I hope I hear about it more with no injuries.
Yes. Well, thank God no one was hurt
that we know of.
So yeah, so far we know of, but I think everyone was inside at that point.
I think people just came outside and they're like, "This is
what happened?
My car is blowing up.
My car is blown up. It looked like a scene out of Die Hard.
It looked like a bomb went off.
Yeah. It went from Miami to Serbia. It's horrible.
Fact.
Yeah. So you had Seattle beats the Broncos. Listen, Seattle, they are who they are. They're not going to be a good football team.
No, Seattle.
This is a week one. Charles Barkley had the greatest line when it comes to this stuff. Charles Barkley's always said about the first couple months of any season, bad teams don't know they're bad yet.
Yeah.
Like they have no idea. Everyone's excited, and
that's why the Lions game was dangerous because they don't know the stuff yet.
Right, and they're all they're all hopped up off of Hard Knocks and everything, and them being competitive that's not surprising at all. But so you had let's say the West. We covered the West. So you had the South. Saints barely survived the Falcons. Did you see the meme of the Falcons meme where all of it's the horrible losses they've had in the past couple of years?
No, but I'm familiar with it.
Oh man, I wish I didn't take a picture of it. Damn it! It was just they had the Super Bowl loss up there. They were up against the Cowboys. But
I remember that. I remember the Cowboys game.
Like 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, and
this is like 7 or 8 scores of things they've been a part of. Just major.
They've never really recovered from the Super Bowl loss. Let's just be honest. They've never even though they've multiple regime changes, as a franchise, it's still
there.
Yeah,
they haven't recovered from Michael Vick dogfighting. The stink of all of that's still there.
Matt Ryan had a good career there.
He did, but I'm just saying, I'm talking about the really bad things happening in that franchise in that sense. They've had Matt Ryan was there, Julio Jones was there, Calvin Ridley was there, Tony.
Well, Calvin Ridley's still there technically.
Yeah, Tony Gonzalez played there.
He just felt the need to place a parlay.
Yeah, no parlays, Calvin. Leave those alone. But so anyway, so what are we missing? We did all the NFC.
Yeah, done the. We did.
Okay. So the Chiefs.
They stomped the.
They looked really good. I don't know if it's sustainable.
I don't think
I don't know if it's because of the Cardinals.
Cardinals not good.
They look really good.
Kyler Murray looks like he needs to study some more.
Yeah, very much so. Not a good showing out of him. That was probably the least competitive game of the week, I would say. I mean, that wasn't even close.
No, that game was
Not even a glimmer of anything happening in that game.
Yeah. Let's see. We did the AFC West. We did the Chargers, Raiders. We did that. Chiefs. Who else is in that division?
The
Broncos did that. AFC South. Colts, Texans.
The Broncos are another one of those teams too, where you got a lot of
pieces
based on pieces that they have, but it all got to come together. It's all got to come together, and this stuff takes time. I like them more next year than I do this year. I think it's going to take them a little bit to get adamant, and like you have to also. A lot of those guys are young. You got to learn how to win.
Jets, Salah.
Keep them receipts.
Well, I don't keep all the receipts. Yo, does he want me to send him a few?
Yeah.
I'll send him a few right now.
Yeah.
Keep all the receipts you want. The Jets are.
Yeah, it wasn't a time for that comment. When you get destroyed by the Ravens like that, it wasn't really exactly.
Are the Jets the worst franchise in sports? I think, Marcus. I think I may just created a top 5 for Friday.
Top 5 worst franchises in sports.
I mean, the Jets have to be up there. Jets and the Lions have both got to be up there.
Yes, but no more until Friday. But yes,
I mean, I'm just throwing some into the abyss. They're.
I got another one I think people aren't thinking about, but I don't want to say it right now. That's really bad.
What sport?
Basketball.
Oh, there's a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad ones.
There's one though that I'm going to be shocked if it's on your list.
If it is or isn't?
If it is on your list.
If it is?
One I think people forget about I'll give this a big hint. One that people forget about based on recent history because they've become a sexy franchise, even though they haven't won anything. But if you look at their history, toilet. Toilet. I'm talking about a used toilet at a gas station bathroom.
I feel like there's a couple of
franchises. Yes, but think about what I just said. A franchise that's become sexy in the past 5 to 7 years. However, if you look at the totality of their history, toilet.
Fair enough. Okay. I have no idea who you're talking about.
TBD.
Yeah, say that for Friday because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, we'll get into it on Friday, no question. But it's not. Listen, at the end of the day, it is great to have football back. Football is. I said this to Amber. It is the adult Christmas morning.
Oh, I told you that my whole weeks are structured differently now. Like my days are more planned. Like
yeah.
I use a calendar during this time of the year.
Like literally, I woke up, which is such a smile on my face. Put on my nice Eagles hoodie, which is nice to throw on a hoodie.
How was the spread? What was the spread?
We kept it simple. So Amber, see, here's what what I love about my wife is that I'm like the offensive coordinator. She's the quarterback. I can put something in the headset and say, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for," and she can go out there and create it. So I'm like, I want some wings, but let's do do you think you can make some wings? And she's like, "What do you mean, like homemade wings?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "What do you think you want for a sauce?" I was like, "Well, I love a garlic parm sauce. The idea of a garlic parmesan sauce. The problem is when you have it, it never lives up to expectations. So I would like you to make me a good garlic parm sauce with some wings." The kid delivered. We went hot route, 47.3, garlic parm on two, delivered. We did that, and then we just put some meatballs in the crock pot and just picked in them. Got some club rolls, nothing crazy. You want to blow your load week 1. Like as it gets colder, then we'll start the parade of food. But right now, I want to start off slow because also too about Sunday. Sunday's a day, especially on football season, you eat all day. I'm not used to doing that right now. I'm not on that schedule. I'm on the schedule of still 3 solids, 3 meals, 3 squares. So I'm on. And Sundays on football Sundays is 7 squares at least.
Yeah,
you're eating 3, 4, 5 times in 6 hours at least. Mm-hmm. You're just sitting there just going back and forth stuff. So I'm not on that schedule yet. So we kept it simple. The wings though were delicious. The best homemade wings I personally have ever had.
Nice.
And she did, and also she did it in the oven. What I thought was interesting, but it felt like she fried them. I even said to her, I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing out there?" I don't hear any sizzle. What's happening out there? She's like, hey, you just trusted me. I got this under control in here. It's like, you're right. You've never disappointed me. When I actually carried something out, you carry it out. And she got it done.
Nice. I too had wings.
Nice.
Threw them in the fryer though.
Air fryer or the like
The
actual
fryer.
You went deep.
I went fryer. I had some leftover barbecue sauce that my brother had made from the ribs like a couple weeks back.
Okay. Delicious.
I had some wings left over from Wild Fork, so I deep fried them, threw them in. You know how I got the meat slicer now.
Yeah.
I had pepperoni and cheese, sliced that down myself.
Yeah.
Then while the fryer was hot, said F it, threw in some mozzarella sticks.
Love a good mozzarella stick. I actually had mozzarella sticks on Friday.
Yeah, but
The farm fresh from the grocery store.
But
Delicious.
Oh, I love mozzarella sticks. But here's the thing. As you said, I ate that out across the span of about 4 hours, though. Like, that wasn't all at one time. That was about the span of 4 hours.
Yeah. You gotta be going, eating at least once an hour during football season.
There was some naps involved in there, too.
There
was some napping. There was some eating, some napping, some eating.
Zave actually hung tough. Zave watched the first 3 quarters of the game. Came down, sat, and watched. Had 10 wings. Strong showing out of week 1 out of him.
Progress.
Because these kids don't watch sports the way that you and I grew up watching sports. Like that, what I just said is something that we did all the time. Like I started watching football all day at like 9, 10 years old.
Yep.
Like I'm not moving from the spot. I'm watching all these games. And like these kids were more apt to go play a sport than they are to watch it anymore, which is weird to me. But kids,
I'm like that with baseball though. I'd much rather play baseball than watch it.
I would agree with that, but they're like that with everything. Like I don't hear about like the kids. I heard the kids outside playing in the neighborhood, stuff like that, running around, and like I was like, man, it's football Sunday. No one's watching the games. All right. Okay.
Yeah, there was too many people on my ride home out and about for me to be comfortable for the first Sunday of the year as well.
Yeah.
Like my ride from home from AC was way longer than it should have been.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't like it.
I mean, either it's not right.
So week 2 starts Thursday with a huge matchup.
Oh, we got a showdown.
We got a showdown. A Mahomes showdown.
Mahomes, Herbert, AFC West.
Chargers, Chiefs.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's a great way to start week 2.
Who you got? Because we won't have a show before then. So
I got the Chargers. I think this is the exposure of the Chiefs.
I got the Chargers too.
I think this is one of those.
Keenan Allen has already been ruled out.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. He's already been ruled out.
Well,
expected back for week 3.
I was going to give this one of those passing of the torch games. One of those types of moments because the Chiefs have been the dominant.
Well, you're just talking though team, not quarterback, right? Because there's no way Mahomes is not. I mean,
no.
You know what I think about Herbert, but I don't think it's.
No,
okay.
I'm talking strictly teams. Like the Chiefs have been on top of the mountain for the last
5 years.
4 or 5 years, and I think this is the Chargers trying to take that from them and get to that top of the mountain. This is a big game for them. A bigger game for them than I feel it is the Chiefs, but a big game nevertheless.
I'm just excited that it's going to be a shootout.
It's going to be fun.
My friends take the over.
Chargers have beaten the Chiefs though before. They went up to Arrowhead and put up like a 40 spot on them. Remember?
Herbert is that dude.
Young
Herbs.
So we'll recap Thursday on Friday, and we'll also get into all the matchups on Sunday and the big matchup Monday night. By the way, really weird to hear Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on Monday Night Football.
I don't hate it though.
That's going to be an adjustment for me.
You didn't watch the Manning cast?
No, I actually didn't watch much of that game. I don't want to. Why in the world would I watch the Broncos and the Seahawks play football?
The only reason why I watched it is because I had leftover parlay on it.
Not right. Oh, I got you. Not right. The treatment of Russell Westbrook, by the way. I thought that was wrong.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Westbrook. Russell Wilson. I thought that was completely.
Yeah, no, that wasn't right.
I love if you go back to I guess 12 years ago now when Donovan came back. He got the standing ovation before the game. to be able to, do all that. And then as soon as he goes to the line of scrimmage, they give him the booze. I love that. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yep.
After all of Russell Wilson has done for that franchise, and all, Super Bowl champion, constantly competitive, should have been back-to-back Super Bowl champions, constantly in the playoffs, the legacy, he was big in the community out there. All of that stuff, he didn't deserve that. And honestly, too, the thing that's messed up is that you won't get to do that again for another 4 years. And honestly,
no, more than that.
It may be in Denver. Yeah, it may be in Denver next time they play.
Yeah, like he I don't want to say that. I mean, he's only 33.
Yeah.
He may never come back to play in Seattle again.
Yeah, it might be he didn't go to the 49ers.
He went to a different conference.
Right. It doesn't affect you. And I think they're gonna regret that, the way they treated him. Because another thing too, the breakup was mutual. This wasn't a one-sided thing. He may have pushed for it a little bit, but it was mutual. It was a mutual breakup. I just feel like, that was wrong, the way they treated him.
I could not have said it better.
But anyway, we'll be talking about that huge matchup Monday night, Eagles, Vikings.
You'll be at the tailgate?
Looking good so far.
Did you see the weather report for it?
Where we at?
Absolutely beautiful day. Low 80s, sunny.
That's what I need in my life. Because last time I was out there, it was frigid.
You couldn't tell by the wardrobe you had on.
Yeah. Well, I like it. I don't like the.
I had quite a few beer coats on though.
Yeah. It was frigid. The tequila kept me warm.
It was
cold.
It was cold. But no, we're looking at maybe 81.
Love it.
And
is Evan gonna be on the grill?
And Evan will be on the grill. The tailgate will be as the sun sets, we'll still be tailgating, so it'll cool down a little bit.
Love it.
DJ, just so you know, I went with her to Giant yesterday. There will be 100 jalapeno poppers delivered.
And they'll be gone in 100 seconds.
Yes, we picked up the necessary ingredients yesterday.
Love it. Love it. Love all of that.
So before we get out of here, I'll just hit the facts for the day.
Okay.
All right. So 1965 on this day, Willie Mays hits his 500th home run.
Nice. Godfather of the Barry Bonds.
Yes. 1970, the first New York City Marathon.
Okay.
I've
never understood the people that run marathons.
I
don't understand what you get out of your enjoyment of doing that. People literally poop on themselves when they finish things.
Yeah. Listen.
I don't want to do that. I don't want that to be a thing.
Sarah and I had a very real conversation when we first started dating. And that is that neither one of us will ever make the other person run.
I mean, listen, I think most people that enjoy running on that level are people who have never been good at sports.
Yes.
I don't want to be good at exercising.
No.
I want to be good at sports.
I bet you they got an A in gym class.
People who enjoy walking. I am walking to get to a destination. I'm not walking for the fun of walking. I'm walking to go somewhere. Walking is a secondary activity. It's not a primary activity, as Larry David said. Secondary activity. I don't want to go for a walk. Where are we walking to? Are we walking to get some water ice? Are we walking to a park to go play basketball?
How is it the first thing that pops into your mind when you're talking about walking is let's go get some water ice?
Because I like that. I want to get some water ice. Let's walk, get some water ice. I'm not just walk. I don't want to go for a walk. But then again, I've been good at sports in my life, so I understand these things aren't thrills. And I don't want to put myself. I don't want to do that.
In 1974, the Phillies set MLB record by using 27 players in a single game.
What? How long was that game?
17 innings.
Jeez. That's horrible.
Well, listen to how many players they used, Marcus, because this was before the rosters changed. They used 27 players in a single game. Because rosters are now only 25 players.
A lot of people.
This was back when it was 30.
Hands?
What was that?
Hey, you, get down here.
Hey, it was remember that minor league hockey goalie that played a game out of the stands a couple of years ago?
No.
You didn't? So I want to say this is 2019-ish.
Okay.
2018, 2019.
All
It's a
right.
minor league hockey. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They don't their goalies hurt. Something's goes on. Like they're like top 3 or 4 goalies, all inactive, can't play. Some guy in the stands is in his 40s, has a history as playing goalie when he was younger. They patted him up and got him on the ice. He played the game as their goalie.
How many goals give up?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he got his ass kicked, but he lived the dream.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Uh,
That should be like at a minor league stadium. That should be a promo. Like win a chance to play a game.
Would you pay money to throw out a first pitch?
No.
No.
No. I'm not. I mean, that's not exciting to me. I do it for free.
How about at a Phillies game? Like not minor league. I'm talking like big league club. Would it depend what the game is?
I guess yeah. You talking about game 1 of the World Series or something? Yeah.
Like I'm talking like the ceremonial first pitch. You know what I mean? Like not get out there and have a guy in the batter. I'm talking the ceremonial first pitch, throwing the ball to the Philly Fanatic.
Yeah.
Would you pay for that? Like, I'm not giving like if there was a price and you could afford it, it wasn't crazy. Would you pay for that?
Something for charity. I do. Like, if I'm giving it the money to the Phillies, no.
Yeah, no, I agree. No.
I do it. Yeah.
I don't even buy tickets or merchandise to give the team
Yeah.
money.
We'll get back into the Phillies a little bit, maybe on Friday, because
maybe not.
things are heating up. The hunt for Red October is strong right now. It's strong.
Marcus, you know what album came out on this day in 1987 to begin their #1 reign at the Billboard charts?
September 13th. Well, I know Bad was in August, so not bad. Now, what is it?
I'm sorry. Let me reword the question. Let me reword this. What album hit #1 on the Billboards?
Bad.
On this day? There you go.
Yeah. Bad came out August 31st. August.
How long was it? Do you know how long it was at #1?
The album?
Yes.
No. 8 weeks or so, something like that?
Close. 11.
Okay.
History
of that album, actually, the only album ever to have 5 #1 singles.
Yep.
Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible that he followed that Thriller up with that. It's insane. It's insane to be able to do that.
This before when we've talked about runs of albums on the with the heels.
Trilogy runs. Yeah.
That's it. Trilogy runs. Yes.
Yep.
So 1990 Law and Order premieres.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you have a favorite Law and Order?
SVU.
Without a doubt.
Not even close. The best of the franchise. First of all, I had a huge crush on Mariska Hargitay. That's #1.
That's how you pronounce her name?
Yes. Loved her.
Good to know.
We had Ice-T on there in that franchise. He's still in that franchise.
Yep.
And Chris Elliott killing it, who actually recently came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great. That's the best of the franchise.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
By far.
I was just hoping that you would have agreed with me and said that.
Yeah, SVU is solid.
1991. Smells Like Teen Spirit debuts.
Oh, one of there's moments in time that like change the course and direction of things. Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit music video, and the Nirvana period of time completely shifted rock music. Like, think about it. Think about where before you can have like literally a line of before Teen Spirit, after Teen Spirit. The grunge movement comes in. Out is the hair rock. No more hair rock. No more big hair, eyeshadow, leather. That's gone. It's done. They changed and actually really kind of changed the direction of the music video, because before that, I guess you would say it's more of the Michael Jackson high budget music videos, and Smells Like Teen Spirit was a complete strip away of all of that. It was in that high school gym. It's dark, it's dingy, and that's kind of where things started to be toned down a lot and stripped down back to that. It's a shame, the Kurt Cobain situation. It's really a shame, because you get Foo Fighters. You probably don't get Foo Fighters if Kurt Cobain doesn't pass. However, you had Cobain and Dave Grohl and how good that band was. It's a shame. Nirvana's a top 3 band for me of all time. In my opinion, for me.
You know the story about them at their release party?
I don't know. Fresh my memory.
They got kicked out of their own album release party for starting a food fight.
Sounds on brand.
And then the last one of the facts, we got a couple birthdays after that. But the last fact, September 13th, 1996.
Yeah.
You know what happens?
Yes, the death of well, no, not the death, the shooting of Tupac.
No, you are
No,
correct.
I'm sorry, 2006. The death of Tupac was 13. Yes. Yep. Yeah. The death of Tupac. Still one of the saddest, most tragic incidents in hip hop, and one that should not have happened.
Have you heard so there's 2 Vegas-based podcasts who have combined their, I don't know, sponsorships, dollars. They've raised $100,000 to the person that can correctly prove and identify the murderer of Tupac.
Well, we already know. Like, it's our, like, if you've watched the stuff we have.
What's Orlando? What was his last name?
Orlando Anderson.
Anderson. Oh yeah.
We already know what happened and how it happened. This is unfortunate because it should have never happened. Like one of the biggest injustices in that period of hip hop is people not protecting Tupac from himself.
Yeah,
he should have never in a million years been involved in a street fight with a bunch of known gang members. Like,
and
that should have
and he
happened.
shouldn't have been allowed to walk around MGM by himself.
Right.
Like, you're too big of a superstar.
Right. And like he should not, like, you know, that whole,
I understand it's free cell phones and all that, but still.
That whole atmosphere, he should not have been anywhere, any part of any of that. It is a shame that it ended the way it did. But you know what? Like, he got himself involved in a really bad situation with really dangerous people, which happened in New York. That's why he got shot in New York. That had nothing to do with. And the thing is that I always and you know, I recognize Tupac's talent. It's undeniable. My pushback Tupac that always frustrated me. Tupac is basically responsible for the reason why my favorite rapper is not here anymore. Point blank, period. Because of what happened in New York, with Tupac running around with some really dangerous people, he ends up getting shot, brings Biggie into it, which Biggie had nothing to do with that whatsoever. That's been proven. You know, and that's another thing. And Biggie too. Biggie should have been protected more. Like, what? Like, it is no way in the world, you know, 6 months after Tupac's death that he should have been in California. That should have been a no. We're not going out there. That was a bad idea. But all of these things, it just stinks because Tupac, I believe, was 26 when he passed.
He was like 24 or 25.
Biggie was 24. But Tupac was in that age range somewhere. And it's just sad that you lost 2 of the greatest, biggest talents in Tupac. Tupac would have done, he would have eventually been a director.
25.
He would have eventually been a director. He would have produced movies. He probably would have had his own film company, his own television company. You know, Biggie was one of the most talented rappers we've ever seen. Little known fact about Biggie is Biggie could actually sing also. So that Drake sound, the Ja Rule sound that you got, I'm sorry, I'll leave Drake out of it. The Ja Rule sound you got going in 2000s, Biggie would have been a part of that because he can sing a little bit also. It's a shame that you didn't get to see all of that and these guys blossom and get into the prime of their lives all because of stupidity.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
I couldn't have worded it better than you. That's why I don't really have much else to add to it. A couple birthdays before we get out of here. Swizz Beats.
Swizzy. Zone.
Playboy Cardi.
Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan of the music, but happy birthday, Playboy.
Tyler Perry.
Some of this is a little too hokey for me, but
one of the top 5 hilarious people on Comedy Central, Jeff Ross.
Yo, when the roasts come out, Jeff Ross comes out.
He is
Jeff Ross, roast. Like, when he gets someone, it's savage. Unbelievable. Like, he's There's a reason why I call him the master of the roast.
Yes. From one savage to another, today is Corey Matthews' birthday. Yes, Ben Savage.
Wow, one of my top 5 dead or alive television shows of all time, Boy Meets World.
Mm-hmm. Also, we have Chris Hansen.
To Catch a Predator?
Yep.
Man, that show.
Wild, wasn't it?
That was a wild moment in television. Like that show. But like it was like, listen, obviously
The dudes would always be like,
obviously pedophilia is not funny at all.
Yeah, oh no.
However, Chris Hansen busting in on these guys was, why don't you give me a cookie? Like he would just come in on random things like that, and the way he would ask these questions, it was comedy.
Yeah. I remember watching one episode, and the guy was like, I didn't do anything. I'm just going to leave. And he was like, you can leave. Go ahead. You can leave. He's like, okay, I can just go. And he's like, yeah, you can go. He goes outside. There's like 5 cops standing there waiting for him.
We had the doctor start crying. Because there was a doctor in there that was like literally crying in the garage.
There was one that like the guy it was outside. I think it was like by the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's walking up and just he sees Chris Hansen and just like,
yeah, he's already knew it was over.
He's like,
To Catch a Predator is goated in television history.
Yeah,
goated. I watched that. It was like I watched that like every time it was on.
Yeah, no,
you had
to. And then last one.
Did he get in trouble doing something weird? I don't think he did anything with kids, but I think didn't he get in trouble?
He got in trouble doing something weird. Let me look it up real quick. I should have looked it up beforehand, but I do know he was doing something weird. Here it is. What was he doing? Where was he?
Come on, Hanson.
So I mean, this is just like a year or two ago. So I don't think he did anything weird. He has some legal issues, but none of it's like weird. Like,
yeah, I thought
tax evasion.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, it doesn't look.
That's on par and brand.
Wire fraud. Like, he doesn't look like he has like anything odd on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it it doesn't look like he has, and no, he just has like legal trouble from being probably a terrible person.
Okay.
And then last one is happy birthday to the real life Willy Wonka, Milton Hershey.
Wow. Okay.
Who actually about a year ago I read his book. Well, it was a book. I should say a book about him. Obviously, he didn't write his book. Talk about a savvy business mind, Marcus. And his ancestors have to hate him, or his descendants. His descendants have to hate him. Right before he passed away, he signed away to an orphanage all of his shares to the Hershey Company.
Wow.
So there's this orphanage somewhere out in Hershey, the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, that has like
living the dream,
a 9-figure a year stipend. And apparently it's an extremely corrupt school. But it's a boring subject. Why would you go read a book about Milton Hershey? But doesn't change the fact, man, Marcus, that dude was a business savvy person. Hershey wasn't even his first chocolate company. He had another one that he got that was basically Zuckerberged away from him.
Mm-hmm.
He said, all right, I'll just start another one. I'll start Hershey.
Impressive. Not a huge fan of Hershey Park, but those Sundays, different in Hershey Park. They hit different.
Listen, you know how you can go in where they make them?
Yeah.
The Reese's cups taste different. And if you go to the store at Hershey Park, you can try stuff months before it hit the shelves. Have you ever had the Hershey Gold? It's like the caramel pretzel one.
No.
That was at Hershey Park like 8 months before it hit 7-Eleven.
Wow.
I was eating it, and then like 6 months later, I saw a commercial for it. I remember my mom was like, "Yeah," my mom's a big Hershey fan. She's like, "Oh, told me about it." I'm like, "I had that 6 months ago."
Never done that.
Yeah, it's old news.
Come on, Mom, tighten up.
Absolutely.
That it?
Yeah. What's your final Chargers for your final prediction?
I got the Chargers. Yes.
Got the Chargers too. Don't know what the line is, but I'm not touching it. Give me the money line with the Chargers.
Yes, love it. And until Friday, I'm Marques tweeting everywhere.
At Justin Emery Show on social media.
Brad and Memory Pod everywhere. BradMemoryShow.com for the merch. Vans Jewelers, 232 York Road.
And get excited for Friday. We have a ton of new segments to debut.
Yes, a lot of
We
things.
have a ton of new segments. We'll get updated Brad and Power rankings.
Yes.
All that good stuff.
And until next time, you can be with us, you can be against us, you're never going to stop us. Late.